Hi, I just wanted to make a short video thanking you all for joining me for this session of Psych 9 at Sac State. I am super thrilled to be wrapping up our course this week, and I know that it's been a long ride for all of you. So this is just a quick video to thank you for sticking it out. I know the material is pretty tough and there's lots of ups and downs, but you've learned so much information in this course, and I hope that that's something, maybe if you don't feel quite that way right now, we'll let it sink in for a couple weeks. And I hope that you do look back on this course as a course in which you learned a whole bunch of really useful information, especially if you do plan on a career in research or going to graduate school for psychology. These will be skills that if you're not using immediately, you will be definitely making use of in the future. So on that note, I just wanted to kind of summarize what we've learned in this course and then also talk about the future, where you might be headed when you leave our physical classroom or virtual classroom. So in this course, you learned about introduction to statistics. So just what are statistics? How do we think about statistics in the context of psychological research? And you learned about two different overall branches of statistics. Descriptive statistics, where we're just trying to use numbers to summarize a set of information that I have available. And you've also learned about inferential statistics. And remember, inferential statistics is the branch of statistics with which we are able to take information that we learn from a sample or a group of numbers that I have access to, and I want to learn something about a population or about the real world. So I study small samples of people to learn about the real world. That's science. And we analyze our data in science, often using statistics, inferential statistics. So you've learned a really important set of skills in this course that you could apply to your scientific research in the field of psychology or in other disciplines. And those tools included tests for comparing means, so seeing if different groups perform differently on different measures, or if two different groups of people respond differently to a treatment, or maybe if a control group or a treatment group has different mean levels of a particular outcome after an intervention. And that's how we test the effectiveness of our interventions or test for differences between different groups of people. We've also learned about correlation and regression, and correlation allowed you to determine whether there's a relationship between two independent variables. So if you're interested in what types of factors are related to reading performance in youth, then you could use correlation to study what other numeric variables correlate with those reading performance scores, or what's related to the reading performance scores. Are there particular variables that seem to correspond to higher reading performance, or particular variables that correspond to lower reading performance? Then that's something you might want to investigate further based on your correlation. And maybe to investigate it further, you would use a regression analysis. And you learned about bivariate regression, where you predict one variable or one outcome from a predictor variable using a linear equation. That's the equation of a line. We can use that linear equation to predict someone's outcome on a variable from information that you know on a different variable. That's really neat. And regression is so cool because it's the foundation of so many other advanced statistical methods that you didn't learn about in this class, but you read a little bit about in chapter 15. So you have some really great foundational exposure to lots of different methods in this course. You also learned about non-parametric statistics, or methods that you could use to analyze data that are not numeric. So if you have nominal data and you have research questions regarding that nominal data, that categorical data, then you could use a chi-square test. And you learned about that in chapter 13. So you've a whole toolbox of information that you didn't have when you came in to this class just several weeks ago. So I think that you should give yourself a pat on the back now. Think about all that. Close your eyes for a second and think about all those formulas that you have drudged your way through, and how if you saw one of those formulas today, you'd have so much more confidence in figuring out what it means compared to where you were at the beginning of this course. So I just want you to know that I recognize how far you've come. I hope you can recognize how far you've come with some degree of clarity. And I do have some just farewell tips for you before we close out this session. First of all, save all your notes. This is a course where you are learning so much information really fast, and maybe you don't even know how much you're learning or how important it's going to be. I saved all of my notes from the time I took this course in my undergraduate career, and I still have that notebook. I used it as a reference for so many other courses that I took in undergraduate and in graduate school, and occasionally I still pull it out because never again after this course do you have such clear notes on the very foundational building blocks of statistics. So that's something that could come in handy. I really recommend that you save your notebook and all your notes from this class. Also remember that statistics are everywhere. Statistics are all around us. And you now do have a basic understanding. You've taken this stats course that gives you a foundational understanding of statistics and how to interpret them and what they mean, and how not to use them, hopefully. So I hope that you'll take that information to be able to think critically about all the incoming information in the media and social media, in the news. Use your tools, your new toolbox to think critically about the world around us. Also, if you liked this class, if you really found statistics to be fun and interesting, maybe consider a career in research, or potentially even as a quantitative psychologist. I didn't even know that that was a possible career path until I took undergraduate statistics. And now I'm a quantitative psychologist, and I am so happy with this career choice. Feel free to send me any questions you have about graduate school and psychology in general, or about quantitative psychology specifically if you're interested. And I do have a research lab. So for students who join our Sac State campus, I do host a research lab where I have students enroll for course credits and participate as research assistants learning about quantitative psychology and conducting research in psychology. Also, in general, stay in touch with me and or other professors with whom you've been building some connections. This is really helpful because at some point you might want a letter of recommendation if you do decide to extend your education to graduate school, or maybe for jobs that you're applying for. It also comes in handy because sometimes we have opportunities that come across our desks as faculty, and we think to our student network, who would be a good student who'd match this opportunity. So if you stay in touch with us and let us know what kinds of opportunities you're interested in, then we can keep you in mind for opportunities that come across our desks for students. And that is really all I had to say in this video. I really appreciate your presence in this course and all your amazing questions and participation. And please keep in touch and enjoy your break.